Welcome back to 1023 Culture. We are here with my friend from virtual reality, Darlene. Darlene has been doing a lot of creating in AltspaceVR and doing a lot of church work within AltspaceVR. And I wanted to sit down with her and just kind of talk to her about what she's doing, what she learned how to do, how excited she is by it. So, so let's start off with Darlene. Roughly, where in the United States are you? Roughly, we're like I said, we're
I'm from I'm from New Jersey, considered Central Jersey. Well, they say South Jersey, but it's okay. Central.
All right. So, you're in South Central Jersey. I'm out in Washington State.
Okay.
So, how long have you been
live in Washington?
Yeah. What part?
Bellevue, Washington.
Oh yeah. I know Bellevue.
Yeah, when I was in junior high. Yeah, that was
okay. So a minute or two ago. Yeah, it's changed. Trust me. So, so what started you in virtual reality in the first place?
Actually, I saw a YouTube video, and I saw the headset, the Oculus Go, and I was like, wow, that looks neat, because I had tried to use the other headsets that you put your phone into, basically, they're pretty much garbage, store brand, right? And you put your phone into it, and it was just like, this is not really working. So I kind of hesitated on getting the Oculus Go, but I said, yeah, why not? I tried it; it worked great, and I was kind of off to the races from there. I was hooked.
Yeah, so you've been in the virtual reality, the VR world for a few years then. Because Oculus Go was
off and on
4 years ago.
Yeah, off and on, off and on.
Yeah. Okay, so so one of the reasons I know you is because our Facebook group Christians in VR, and you're making all these worlds in a place called AltspaceVR. So what's and they're really Christ centered. They're church centered. What's been? I mean, what inspired you initially for to get going on that?
Well, a friend of mine, he had started building a world. I met him, I think, through church, and he had started putting a world together from scratch, and I was like, wow, that is so cool. I said, I want to do that. And he gave me kudos. He was like, you can do this, it's not hard. And when someone usually tells me that, it's, oh no,
it's way harder than
because I mean, he was just going at it like nothing, I mean. So I was like, well, okay, I'll give it a try. So I started with, I guess everyone kind of starts out with an AltSpace template. And I just wanted to use that and kind of put some things in it, make it, my own, put the idea in with it. And it was very hard. I could not seem to get the manipulation of the items, especially when you put the AltSpace projector in. It's huge. Like, why is this thing this big? I could not grasp the concept of how to, make it smaller, how to move it around. It was just, it was awful. I said, if I can't do this, how am I going to build a world? So I went back to him, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And another friend of mine, she was like, no, you can do this. I was like, well, we'll see. So I tried it another day, still nothing, couldn't get it. And sometimes when I can't do something that looks like it's not rocket science, I get kind of frustrated with myself. And I was just very frustrated because these ideas were like coming at the time. And so even with their support, I was just kind of feeling defeated already, just from this simple thing. So so I prayed, and I said, God, I really want to do this, please help me. And so the next day, wow, I guess he heard me because I could manipulate items and in there
Yeah.
was like no problem.
Your prayers were answered.
Right,
Yeah. Yep.
exactly. And I was just going at it, and then all the ideas like started like coming, like just
Mm,
it was absolutely nuts. I think I built, well, not built because I don't do it from scratch because when I look at that blue world,
mm,
I don't really have a vision. Although I
right.
see it in my head, but as far as building from scratch, I really don't have that kind of vision. But I can see a template
Mm,
and see what I can do with it, and
okay.
that's where my vision stems from. So, yay to having templates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah. So I saw the templates and I started with the AltSpace templates, obviously.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
and I made one world after another, and I think, like I said, I think I made must have done like 5 in 4 days,
wow.
or maybe 5 in 5
That's
days.
yeah.
Around then, I was going
Yeah.
like crazy. Um,
Mm,
so I started out with the worlds with the old templates, with the
mm,
AltSpace templates, and as time went by, now I've only been in it, I think, well, less than probably maybe 8 months now.
yeah.
I think I lose track of time, but
Hmm.
I think probably about eight
Sounds
months.
about
But
right. Sounds about right.
I have, yeah, and so I have since started using more templates that other people have made
Mm,
to make the rooms look a little bit more you know inviting.
mm,
Yay for alt space for for the start out, but when people make other templates, it really does look a lot better. So
yeah. Yeah. Now those
I
other templates are you typically getting those for free? Are they a buy? Are you purchasing those?
no, it's like you join a group
Mm,
or or something like that. I think that's how it is, but I think they're shared templates or some kind of how it
mm.
works. And
Because I'm complete.
there's
I'm one of those people. I'm like where you were. I
mm,
want to, but I don't really know where to start. How
start.
do I, so how would I start? I want to make something that has to do with my channel,
Hmm.
1023 culture, and how and how would I make that into my podcast studio?
Well, you can use, there is like a podcast template.
Mm,
It's an alt space podcast template.
mm,
Um, I wouldn't say it looks as good as like maybe this right here, this room,
right. Yeah.
but as a start out, if someone wanted to start, like that might be just a good place to kind of just practice with.
Mm,
But I would definitely look for um, a better template that someone made,
mm,
if that's going to be like your main
right.
spot. But you can always change out because
Yeah.
they're putting in new templates, every few
Yeah.
weeks or whatever.
So are you working with Unity or anything like that for building, or
No,
so you're
no,
just kind of
no.
grabbing from here and grabbing from this one over here?
Right. I'm using
Yep.
templates that people put out there in order to
Okay.
like share the
Yep.
templates. I I can say I did try Unity when I saw a theater that I really liked, but
Mm,
I didn't realize when you do it, the theater comes like a pink puzzle, and you have to
mm.
put this puzzle together. I thought I would be getting a made unit, a made theater. There you go, import it to AltSpace. Bam! I have a theater. Really nice, but no, it doesn't
Mm,
work that way. Uh,
mm,
Unity is for. I mean, I'm sure people learn it obviously, but
mm,
I
mm,
generally have a giant learning curve when it comes to learning. Because I
mm,
do have a problem like picking things up sometimes, but
mm,
but yeah, if I would just say figure out what it is that you want it to be about, and then look for a
mm,
template that you can actually work with, because not all of them are geared to for anything or
mm,
everything that you might want, but you can with kits. That's
mm.
another thing that shared kits. AltSpace has its kits. They're low poly kits, which are
I
kind of
played
like
with those.
cartoonish looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
if
put
you join,
the penguin in my home, and
right?
you
Oh,
know,
I have
so,
a penguin. Yeah, I have a penguin in my room too.
you know.
It's so funny. Um, yeah. So if you join groups, then what they do is they share
Mm-hmm.
their kits with you. So now you can really make the room your own. You have like a lot of selection to choose from,
Mm-hmm.
and it's great. And that's what I did. As far as just making the rooms be what you know the vision was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and
Yeah,
it's been good. I haven't had any problem really finding anything
that's very cool. That's very cool.
thus far.
And, the way I do these, I kind of come up with questions as we go along. Ones,
Mhm.
so as a fellow Christian, I mean, where do you see us as Christians in the metaverse? It's a big question, I know.
Um, well, no, not really. There's I noticed that there was like a lot of churches that started popping up
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple months ago. There are groups now that are church planting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess they're talking to pastors that actually want to, have their stream in AltSpace and things like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the technology, is coming. I have another friend. He does like 3D
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing where you can actually import. I don't know how he does it, but you can actually import a person really talking into a
Mm-hmm.
room. So I
I've
guess it's like
seen
a
that.
hologram kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been to. I've been to. Actually, it was this one young lady was doing a concert of her singing country
Right? Yeah,
songs in a
yeah,
club,
yeah.
and she's physically in there. She looks like, but she's not really 3D. She's a 2D character. So I mean, you're seeing
Hmm.
a 2D representation of her playing
Yeah, it's like a
music and
hologram or
listen.
so.
Yeah,
I saw part of
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty crazy.
yeah. She did a few
But
shows.
yeah, I have to go to one. I did mark it like I would definitely want to
Mhm.
see that.
Right.
So, but where do I see Christian? I see it. Well, being that this is like all basically new,
Mhm.
I see it's really, really going to get huge.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's a lot of churches popping up like every few weeks,
Mhm.
and and I think that this is the beginning, but within the next couple years, even by this time next year, I'm going to say it's going to have grown, you know,
A lot, yeah,
pretty big,
yeah, yeah.
substantially,
I'm in agreement
and
with you. Actually, I heard another friend of mine, Heath. He was like, he heard people complaining that there's too many Christians in VR now,
I saw
and
that. I saw
I'm
that.
just like, yes, yes, we're here. Okay, so
That's right.
um,
Yeah, I text back to that person because
yeah,
they were like, "What's with the Sunday? There's like there's so many churches popping up and all the Christians," and I'm like, "Well, go in and learn
yeah,
something." I was
go
just
in and
like,
say
they're
hi.
like, "Yeah," they're like, "How
Yeah,
about not? How about I go check it out and leave?" I'm like, "Whatever," um, but it gives like such a great outlet. I know for me because I don't get out
mm,
a lot. Like I'm pretty much homebound, so
yeah,
um, being able to put on a headset and go to church or
mm,
go fellowship with other Christians.
mm,
You don't have to drive anywhere, but you're
yeah,
fellowshipping with Christians like from all over the world. Like you
yeah,
can't do that in real life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I see it getting really huge. I mean,
yeah,
um, also too, I think that the metaverse is kind of getting it has like a bad rap, I think, among Christians that don't understand it either.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's kind of like that's the devil's eyeglasses. I just
I was
made that up. But
well, no, I was talking to my pastor about this very concept because I mean, I've done a couple of I've taken our live stream from my church, and I put it up and things like that, and then I've looked at I've been to vrchurch.org,
mm-hmm.
I've been there. We went to the Fort Lauderdale for Marcos is there. He does it a big screen. Which you were there. Actually, you were there at the one that I recorded when I was just kind of
Yeah, that
recording
was
up a
like
little
so
bit.
funny. I was like,
That's crazy. I remember that. I remember that guy when we had an atheist that came in and he was very vocal.
uh-huh.
And then kept on repeating, like, I don't want to interrupt. But then he just kept going.
Right, then he
It's
gets
like,
interrupted.
okay, you don't
right?
want to interrupt, but you keep interrupting,
Yeah,
okay?
and that was my
you know,
first time there. That was so funny.
yeah, that's
Oh
hilarious.
my
And
goodness.
so we've had I've been to a few of these things, and I really see very much the same thing. I mean, it's a Wild West thing right now, and we need
hmm
to. And my attitude is, we need to have a presence here, because if we're not here, I guarantee our opposition is
hmm
there. I
Exactly. Oh,
guarantee
they
they're
are.
there,
They
and
definitely are.
without a doubt, and they have a right to be there. And I just want, it's like,
Right.
don't tell me I can't be here. So I was talking to
hmm
my to our pastor about it quite a while ago, actually, and he tried my headset and he thought it was really cool. And he was like, "Is this where you would do things? Is how would you do this?" And he's like, "But the thing is, I'm worried about is, I'm worried that somebody's just going to round a corner and they're going to run into an orgy." And I was just like, well.
It's
Yeah,
probably
first off,
already happened. It's in the headset. At least.
always understand that the internet is a horrible place, when you come
Right.
right down to it. I mean, yes, there's,
hmm
if you look for it, it's there. And,
Right. Right.
and so, I mean, as bad as humans can be, and we are
hmm
very, very fallen, there you
hmm
go. You can find the, all the stuff that you don't want your kids to see, all the stuff that,
Exactly.
because my general rule is, if you have to do this,
Yeah. Then
you
you
probably
should
shouldn't
not
be
be
there.
going there.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's
That's
just
how
my
I look
basic.
at it too.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
if
kind of my basic rule. So yeah,
right, if you're not going to do it on the outside, don't do it on the inside.
exactly.
You know,
Treat it,
and
treat it like your pastor is looking over your shoulder a little bit. And you'll
right,
kind of,
exactly.
you'll understand.
Because like
So
I say too, a butter knife can be a weapon depending on how you use it. It's just
exactly.
you have to you know you have to keep your eyes and guarded in here, because the
Yeah.
thing with this is it's so easy because it's only one click.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
drive anywhere, and that's the thing where the temptation can get really big, because you're like,
hmm
well, I'm just in my headset, and I'm just gonna go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a way,
And,
it's too easy. It's too
and
easy.
and we've all seen. I mean, the people who. I mean, there's one game I love to play is real VR fishing,
Oh
and
yeah, did it
you know,
yesterday. Played yesterday.
yeah, and you get in there, and I don't want to rag on the kids, because kids are kids are kids,
Mhm.
but you always have that, these kids that want to sit there and just come in and just
Oh my goodness,
terrorize
yes.
things, and so
Yes.
understanding that you have the ability to kick people and block them and all that stuff,
hmm
but and so there was one
I
in
know what you
particular,
mean.
something they commented about, that was dropping the N word and then he'd leave really fast. It's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, so you just drop the N word and take off.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's crazy. I mean, parents, seriously, like, the headset is really good.
mhm.
For me, it's opened up a big world.
Yeah, oh yeah,
But people have to be careful when they're just kind of like leaving their headset around for their kids. Whether they're,
yeah.
there is a password thing on there, I think.
Mhm. There is,
But
there is.
I think some parents too just kind of like use it as a babysitter, like the TV. Here, go grab my headset, because I know I've been in Bible studies,
Mhm.
and matter of fact, last week, and been in a couple Bible studies where the kids will come in and they'll go and they'll stand and get in your face and
Mhm.
just stare, or either go hi, 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 and they'll just
Yeah,
be disruptive, and
yeah.
you don't. In that situation, you don't want to be quick to kick,
Mhm.
but when they're being that disruptive, I mean, there was one I went to, and the leader didn't, the Bible didn't say to the kid, just, take a break. Listen, we're having I mean, he did say we're having a Bible study, but the kid kept being, still being
Mhm.
disruptive. And it's like, you're not going to hurt their feelings. Then again, you
Just don't.
may, but hey, you know what I mean?
But odds are
You can't
against
do
it.
this. Yeah,
And
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I think I've had
And
one
parents,
time where I kicked somebody and then I got a message from him. It's like, why'd you kick me, man? I was like, you're being disruptive. I just wanted to hug people. Okay, but that's getting in their
yeah,
face, man.
yeah, you can't do that. I mean, yeah,
Precisely.
some people just they don't get the etiquette and
Right.
because it's like
Right.
if
Which
you're
we're still
in
forming.
someone's space,
We're still forming
right,
the etiquette here too. And
right,
what does this mean here? What does that mean there?
hmm,
I mean, I was in this very room in somebody else's. I mean, because this is the basic big screen
right,
room
yeah,
right here. As
hmm,
you've been here, whenever you log in, you end up here. And it
right,
was this room right here, and it was hey, let's talk about God's thing, right?
hmm,
Um, and I was actually standing right back there talking to, and he said, I'm an agnostic atheist and I love to talk about these things and I love to have civilized conversations. And I was like, that's what I'm about. That's what I
right,
wanted.
right,
I mean, the video, you probably saw it. It was my Arab Muslim friend.
right,
Okay. You know,
hmm,
we are, I'm going to do more talks with him. And as we go along, we're going to have more conversations. We're going to find things we're in disagreement on.
hmm,
Um,
yeah,
and we're going to get there actually. And he's never lived in America, so he hears about America from from other things. So he's asked me questions like, is it true that in America that if you have sex before marriage, if you don't want to have sex before marriage, you're laughed at? And so, well, that's a big rabbit hole to go down with dealing with the
yeah,
sexual revolution
right,
and abortion and birth control and
and all that
the
sort of
women's
stuff.
movement and
Yeah,
feminists and all the stuff that's
there's
a
so much.
big package to
And
unbox,
it's getting bigger. It's getting
and it's
bigger
getting
because every
bigger.
group now has got to be like, I want, it's,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's getting
and
just
and
out of
it's
hand,
like
really, I
it's a
think.
Handmaid's Tale, and oh my God. And it's getting
Yeah.
worse and worse and worse, of course, right now. And that's
Oh,
going to
God.
settle down some. I think would be when people kind of come to accept what's you know. Okay, they're mad. They're mad at the Supreme Court, and my attitude is, listen, I don't want to sit there and rain on your parade about killing the unborn.
Right. Go ahead.
I'm decidedly pro life. I
Right.
am very
Exactly. Me
strongly,
too.
staunchly. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Yes.
I had a
Me too.
feeling I was preaching to the choir there. But
Yes.
my personal attitude, and this will come out in subsequent videos, I'm sure, is that it always was bad law. It was
Hmm.
always done on with no precedent and based on the right to privacy, which there is actually nothing, no amendment in the Constitution, nothing like that guarantees a
Hmm.
right to privacy. We have
Right.
security in ourselves and papers. We have security there, the Fourth Amendment and things like that. But so to turn into so that's why the Supreme Court said this isn't a constitutional issue.
Right.
This is
Leave it to the
so
states. Yeah.
it goes down to the states, and some states will say yes, we will do it, and some states are saying no, we don't want that in our states.
Which is kind of which is like kind of
Yes.
crazy because I think the ones that were out in the streets was just hearing, no, we they were just kind of like, I don't think they really heard anything
Mm?
at that point. All they heard was, we can't do it anymore. We can't have it. It's just like, you just see these people that are just like, why are you like so rushing to this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is left up to it's going to be left up to the states, but
Mm?
that they're going to figure out how to go around that too. I mean, they're
working on it, and a lot of one of my
because
big
now they want to
arguments.
do it on federal land. Yeah, I heard that they want to do it. And I did write
It's
something
federal.
where
Yeah.
where you don't want drilling for oil on federal land, but yet you will like put this on federal land to build these.
And they said, but then they qualified it at this point, as I understand, they qualified it with the concept of you have is for life of the mother, which is 0.001% of abortions, rape, which is 0.4% or less, incest, which is another very small percentage. It's like so they would allow those, but not not. It's like, well, and the usual argument of well, if we say those are okay, and can we get rid of the other 95% of abortions?
Right. See, and I think too, as in just like looking at it
Mm,
just now, it's kind of like it seems like the people that are out there marching are the ones
mm,
that you know see and actually just a little bit. It's like
mm.
that's why the Bible says to be married,
Mm.
no sex before marriage. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
back then, it probably didn't make any sense, you know what I mean? But as you, not really back
oh,
then, but when you're not, following
right.
Christ or you don't know the Bible, it
Oh
doesn't make
dear.
sense. But when you follow the Bible and you're following Christ and you read what it says, it makes pure sense
Right.
because, it does. It cuts out all the mishmash,
Mm,
of
mm,
having sex before um just because a
mm.
lot of people can get willy nilly and just be like, and we know,
Yep.
sleeping over here, sleeping over there. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And when you're doing that, it raises the likelihood of rape, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
Because you're putting yourself in a bad situation. Now, can it just happen if you're just like, walking in the parking lot to the store? Yes, it can happen.
Mm,
But when you have the other behavior, that totally that totally raises the chance that, you know,
mm.
something may happen.
Yeah.
And you see these people out there like, oh, I've had like this many abortions and, you know, I'll have more. I really don't care. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like they're just using that, as we all know, as a form of birth control. And those are
Mm,
the ones that really need to kind
yeah.
of be like,
Right.
that need a good stern talking to of like, hey, if you don't do this, then it may cut down on that.
Mm,
But and that's the whole problem. It's like when you end up following Christ and it's in the Bible, you see just how upside down we are.
mm. Right.
You know what I
We
mean?
are. We
It's
really
like
are.
we
Yeah.
wait till things happen and then it's just like, oh well, we got to go back and you know do this or that, CBAB whatever, and go
Mm,
back and do this rather than if it says train up a child into learning. If that child could follow,
mm,
that family, like Christian family, and that family raises up good Christian people, then they're going to do A, B, C, and D. Will
mm.
they have like falter here and there? Yeah, but they'll know like the foundation. But this world doesn't know outside of that, doesn't really have that foundation. It's like we're gonna run ahead to whatever,
Mm.
and then get to this bad point, and now now we have a law or a rule of, well, how can we fix that, rather than someone just saying, hey, we need to get back to the Bible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's everything else, and it's not going to work. It hasn't worked, by saying, oh, we have to make this law, we got to make that. It's never going to work.
Nope. Nope. It
But
doesn't.
they
Okay.
don't want to go back to the Bible, so
So I got a couple things going on. Okay.
Mhm.
First off, I hit a wall on my memory on my computer, so it actually stopped recording a couple of minutes ago. The good news,
Oh,
I'm recording in my headset, so I still have everything you just said, which I'm very
okay.
much in agreement with. And so I think at this point in time, I think we should go ahead and head over to AltSpace. So give
Okay.
us a couple of minutes to do that, and
Okay, because if
as
you need more
such,
time, I'm available a different day too, if you need.
well,
So
we could probably do that later, but if we move over to AltSpace right
okay,
now, I think
yeah,
I
okay,
mean we're going to be done with this part of it anyway.
okay.
And so what we can do is we
That
can
was
go
good
to.
conversation.
Yeah, that was very good. When it comes to this stuff, this SCOTUS and the Supreme Court, and all that stuff. It's yeah, I can. We could really get into that really big. I'm glad you're not scared of those conversations. Some people
No,
are scared of those things. They're scared of getting
nope.
involved in that conversation. There's a
I
few
can talk
people that,
about stuff
yeah,
a lot, especially what's going on in the world. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow.